Opening. Natural disasters, fierce and unpredictable, can cause immense damage and loss of life. We live on a vibrant, dynamic planet where the forces of nature are constantly at work. Sometimes these forces manifest in dramatic and destructive ways, creating what we call natural disasters. From the trembling of the earth beneath our feet to the roaring waters of a flood, these events are as powerful as they are unpredictable. In the heart of Eurasia, Turkey is a country that frequently grapples with a variety of these destructive natural phenomena. The country is crisscrossed by fault lines, making it prone to earthquakes. The rumbling of the earth is a force of nature that can cause immense destruction, altering landscapes and lives in a matter of moments. But earthquakes aren't the only natural disasters that Turkey faces. The country's diverse geography and climate also make it susceptible to other types of natural disasters, such as floods and landslides. Torrential rains can transform peaceful rivers into raging torrents, sweeping away everything in their path. Similarly, steep slopes and heavy rains can trigger landslides, burying homes and roads under tons of soil and rock. No matter where we are, the reality is that natural disasters are a part of life on Earth. They are unpredictable, and their potential for destruction is immense. But this doesn't mean we are helpless against them. By understanding what natural disasters are and how they occur, we can better equip ourselves to face them. We can learn about the signs that precede these events, the areas most prone to them, and the steps we can take to mitigate their impact. This knowledge is not just about satisfying our curiosity about the world around us. It is about ensuring our safety and survival in the face of nature's might. Closing. By understanding what natural disasters are and how they occur, we can better prepare for them. Preparedness is not just about survival, it's about the preservation of life, livelihood, and dignity. In the face of natural disasters, preparedness can make a world of difference. It's the glimmer of hope that shields us from the unpredictability of nature's wrath. When we talk about preparedness, we're not just referring to having an emergency kit stashed away or knowing the quickest evacuation route. It's a holistic approach that encompasses every aspect of our lives. It's about creating a safety net that not only protects us, but also reduces the impact on our homes, our communities, and our cherished belongings. Being prepared means being proactive. It means taking the initiative to equip ourselves with the tools, knowledge, and plans that could potentially save our lives and the lives of those around us. It means reducing the fear and uncertainty that come with natural disasters. In the end, being prepared is not an option, but a necessity. In the face of disaster, having a plan can be your lifeline. Just as a captain charts a course before setting sail, so too must we navigate our way towards safety in the event of a natural disaster. This journey begins with the creation of an emergency plan. A comprehensive emergency plan serves as a guide that outlines the actions to take and the paths to follow when disaster strikes. Let's begin with identifying safe spots in your home. These are places where you can take cover when an earthquake or other disaster occurs. They could be under sturdy furniture, away from windows, or in an interior room on the lowest floor. Safety is paramount, and these spots provide the shelter needed to weather the storm. Next, we move on to establishing meeting points. In the chaos of a crisis, it can be easy to get separated from your loved ones. That's why it's crucial to decide on a meeting point ahead of time. This could be a nearby park, a community center, or even a neighbor's house. Remember, the goal is to choose a location that is easy to reach and safe from potential hazards. Then, we need to decide on communication methods. When disaster strikes, normal modes of communication may be disrupted. That's why it's essential to have a backup plan. This could involve using a specific app on your phone, relying on a landline, or even resorting to traditional methods like sending a letter. Now, this plan might seem overwhelming at first, but take it step by step. Start by discussing these points with your family or housemates. Write down your plan and keep it in a place where everyone can easily access it. Regularly review and update your plan as necessary. Practice it too. The more familiar everyone is with the emergency plan, the more effectively it can be implemented when the time comes. Remember, in the midst of uncertainty, knowledge is power, and an emergency plan gives you just that, the power to protect yourself and your loved ones. Your emergency plan is your roadmap to safety. In an emergency, every second counts. Having an emergency bag ready can make all the difference. This isn't just a bag, it's your lifeline when disaster strikes. So what goes into this bag? Firstly, you'll need food and water. Opt for non-perishable food items that can sustain you for at least 3 days. Don't forget a manual can opener for canned goods. For water, consider 1 gallon per person per day, again for a minimum of 3 days. Next, think about first aid supplies. This includes bandages, antiseptic wipes, tweezers, medical tape, and a blanket. Lastly, the often overlooked but extremely vital component, important documents. Make sure to have copies of identification, insurance policies, and medical records. You might also want to include a list of emergency contact numbers. Remember, this bag could be your lifeline, your survival kit when disaster strikes. An emergency bag is your survival kit when disaster strikes. Your home and workplace should be your safe havens, even in the face of disaster. And to ensure that they remain as such, there are a number of steps you can take to make them safe against potential disasters. Firstly, consider the heavy items in your home and workplace. Bookshelves, appliances, and furniture can become dangerous if not properly secured. By fastening these items to walls or floors, you can prevent them from falling and causing injury during an earthquake or other similar disasters. Secondly, consider installing safety features. Smoke detectors and fire extinguishers are essential in every home and workplace. In the event of a fire, these tools can give you the precious time needed to safely evacuate. Meanwhile, having a first aid kit on hand is always a good idea, as it can be invaluable in the aftermath of a disaster. Thirdly, regular maintenance of your property can prevent many disasters. This can involve clearing gutters to prevent flooding, checking electrical wiring to avoid fires, or even inspecting your property for potential structural weaknesses. Remember, prevention is always better than cure. Now, let's talk about safety measures specifically for workplaces. It's vital to have a clear, well-communicated emergency plan. This should include evacuation routes, meeting points, and roles for each employee. Regular drills can help ensure everyone knows what to do in the event of an emergency. Lastly, for homes, make sure all family members are aware of the emergency plan. This includes knowing where the emergency supplies are stored, understanding how to turn off utilities, and being aware of the safest places to shelter during different types of disasters. By taking these steps, you're not only preparing your physical environments for potential disasters, but also instilling a sense of security among those who live or work within them. Remember, the goal here isn't to live in fear of what might happen, but rather to feel empowered by knowing you've done what you can to protect yourself and those around you. A safe home and workplace can stand against the storm. Knowing your way out can be the key to survival during a disaster. This statement is more than just a saying, it's a crucial piece of advice that can save lives. Learning and practicing emergency evacuation routes is an essential part of preparing for natural disasters. Imagine being at home, work, or school when a disaster strikes. The power goes out, panic sets in, and fear grips everyone. It's not the time to figure out where to go or what to do. That's why it's so important to familiarize yourself with evacuation routes beforehand. Practice makes perfect, they say, and this holds true for emergency evacuations as well. Regularly practicing these routes can help you remember them during a high-stress situation. It can also highlight any obstacles or difficulties that need to be addressed, allowing for a smoother evacuation when it truly matters. Remember, during a disaster, every second counts. Your knowledge of evacuation routes can be your lifeline in a disaster. Preparedness is power, power to withstand, power to recover, and power to rebuild. It is a shield that protects us when calamity strikes, and it is a beacon that guides us out of the darkness of disaster. Remember, when a natural disaster hits, it's not just about surviving the initial impact. It's about having the resilience to pick up the pieces and start over. Being prepared for a disaster is not a one-time act. It's a continuous process of learning, adapting, and improving. It's about understanding the risks, making plans, and taking practical steps to mitigate these risks. Preparedness doesn't just save properties, it saves lives. It turns potential victims into survivors and survivors into heroes. It empowers us to not only face the storm, but to rise above it. So let's take the power into our hands. Let's prepare, because in the face of disaster, your preparedness is your strength.